Really good Tesla stock news today, and you can see it in the stock price. Let's go through everything. It's not just one thing. For April in China, we got over 40,000 deliveries. And if we update this chart now, we will clearly be way above the first month of a previous quarter. In other words, it's the best first month of any quarter in China so far ever. Currently, we are already about here, and if this trend continues, we will beat the last quarter in China. If you only look at this last week without comparing it to the last quarter, it doesn't look that spectacular. But look at this weekly data of each quarter, and you will quickly see that right now, we are so ahead of the previous quarter. And this chart is my favorite from Roland. He did a really good job here, demonstrating how far ahead really we are right now compared to all other quarters. Tesla, of course, is flattening the delivery wave, which will help with costs. This at first will appear to be bad, but actually it is good because this is the smallest drop from March to April so far, only minus 15%. These are wholesale numbers from China, which also include exports, but all the previous charts I showed you only included local deliveries within China based on the insurance data. That's the smallest drop so far. I know a lot of Tesla bears will say, but it's a decrease, but yeah, but if you have a smaller decrease than before, for example, then actually it's a good number. It's not really fair to compare to the last year numbers exactly, because last year in April, the factory was shut down. So of course, that's going to be not a great number, but this I think is a fairly fair comparison. Looks like Gary's happy with the total number of wholesale units as well. We got the numbers for April from Europe, and I like what I see. Last time we didn't have the UK numbers and the German numbers yet, but now we do. And while the numbers from Germany are not exactly the best, the numbers from the UK, whoa, this is pretty good. Last time I said because the numbers in all other small countries look so good, it could be that either demand everywhere is exceptional and you'll see huge numbers everywhere, or the demand in bigger countries is not that good, so therefore Tesla is prioritizing these small countries. But with this new data, looking at this UK data especially, wow, there's a chance that perhaps Tesla is doing what it used to do with Giga Shanghai, meaning in the beginning of a quarter, Tesla prioritizes exports, and then towards the end of a quarter, Tesla focuses within that local market where the factory is. If the UK numbers came in weak as well, just like sort of like, let's say, France is actually not too bad. But if the UK numbers were similar to those from Germany, I would have said, you know what, it looks like demand is a bit slower at the moment in Europe, but this, I don't know, it's pointing towards the direction that demand is actually stronger than many anticipated. To find out if Tesla indeed is not prioritizing Germany in the beginning of this quarter, we would simply look at the inventory levels in Germany, and if they are high, that means that's not really true, but if they are relatively low, then that means that is actually probably happening. I don't know of any websites that could show me Germany's inventory like this on a chart where I could see what it was like before, but we can use something else. If I go to this website and then search for Model Y new inventory, it shows that currently there are 356 vehicles. Keep in mind, the reality is we will have quite a few more because Tesla does not show duplicate configurations multiple times. I heard that in Europe, Tesla shows up to 2 duplicate configurations, but in the US, they only show 1. So remember this number 350. We look at Germany, and what do we have? We have 116 only, meaning that the inventory is quite a bit higher in the UK. So if you actually want to get a car in the UK, it's much easier to do so than in Germany. Looking at France though, it is 116, but remember, now we are in May. This is no longer April. So what was the inventory like in Germany throughout all of April? I don't know, but it is certainly a bit weird that Tesla would have almost as much inventory in Little Norway for Model Y as it does in Germany, which is a much bigger country. If you know where to get data that shows historical inventory of Germany, please leave a comment down below. Currently, this looks promising, although it's not conclusive yet. Tesla just increased prices of imported Model S's and X's in China. I think Tesla is doing exactly what they just did with all other models, raising the price a little bit, which is generally working. Look at that Model 3 inventory level coming down slowly, and Model Y is coming down much faster. That, I believe, will create either a backlog for the Model Y or higher prices. Although, we heard from Tesla Mag that production of Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive, specifically rear-wheel drive, started in Germany with a structural battery pack, front and rear castings as well, which is good. That will lower the cost, but that means that rear-wheel drive Model Ys will no longer be coming from China probably, or at least not as many. But we also know from China, we will now send Model Ys to Canada, at least some of them certainly. And that means there will be Model Ys in the US that will no longer need to go to Canada, which will create more supply for the US, which may slow down this decrease of a Model Y inventory in the US. What is really amazing about Tesla in the US is that the overall vehicle market in the US is shrinking, but Tesla is still growing fast. This is making it harder for legacy automakers to transition to EVs. I also know of a few people that don't want to buy a new vehicle right now. They're holding on to their old vehicle, which they're sort of okay with. They're just waiting for an EV that they actually want, or they think that EVs will get cheaper. And that partially is contributing to this decline as well, and that will become a lot more common very soon. Personally, if you're looking to buy a Model 3, if you are not in a rush, and if you can wait up to a year or maybe even a bit longer, I would wait, because probably you will get the new refresh Model 3 then. But if you're looking at a Model Y, I don't see much of a point in waiting right now. Just keep in mind the refresh Model 3 may be more expensive, or maybe it won't be. We don't really know. In the meantime, Stellantis, that owns a lot of brands such as Fiat and Chrysler and Dodge, their CEO is saying that Stellantis has no intention of starting a price war with Tesla. Why, you ask? It probably has something to do with this. This is from 2021, December 2nd. Stellantis CEO complains about being forced to make EVs and not knowing how to profit from them. In the meantime, Tesla secures a large order of parts for the Cybertruck, which, you know, Tesla will make profitably. Gary Black is really excited about Tesla stock right now, actually. While sentiment in Tesla stock remains bad, Tesla stock is acting like it did in January before its run from $108 to $214. Today, management appears to be signaling to consumers and competitors that it's done cutting prices and will resort to other actions to balance short-term supply and demand, discounted financing, filling in product gaps, pauses in production. I have to add, during holidays where you would have to pay maybe double, maybe even more to your employees. To me, one of the exciting parts here is that Tesla is moving to front casting and is not just sticking with rear casting anymore in Giga Berlin. In the short term, it's always difficult when a new technology is adapted, but in the long run, clearly that will reduce costs significantly. Elon is quite excited on Twitter. He says, version 11.4 is excellent. Several days of driving to random pin drop locations in Austin, 0 safety critical interventions. But full self-driving is so far from being solved, right? Well, look at Midjourney version 1. This is a year ago. This is Elon Musk, supposedly. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like Elon Musk, really. I mean, it's weird to look at this, and version 2 is not really that better, although it has a sense of humor, certainly, it appears. Midjourney 3, last year in July, still horrible. And then Midjourney version 4 in November of last year. This is pretty impressive. I have no idea what Elon Musk is going to be cooking in that, but I certainly want to be a part of it. This is from March. This is Midjourney 5. This progress happened in just 1 year. From completely useless and ugly, pixelated, to something that is much better than almost any human could create. It took 1 year. A prompt for all of these was Elon Musk holding a sink on Mars. We also saw a positive piece of news, coverage about Tesla in China. That certainly makes me feel a little bit more comfortable because China is not trying to actively kick out Tesla from China. If it was, we wouldn't be seeing any articles like that. Top Gear just did a video about the Tesla Model S Plaid with a trap package, and it's very interesting what they had to say.
It's a very practical car, in fact more than the shape would suggest. And the good thing about it, I would say, is that the shapes and the textures, the fit and the finish, and the quality of the materials are all much better than other Teslas I've tried, which makes sense because this is supposed to be a flagship car, but I was really pleased with how this car was put together. It's a step forward from stuff that I've driven before. And it's got a brilliant stereo and hundreds of features, far too many to go into here, which all work, and it's a joy.
It is almost as if he is saying that features in other vehicles often don't really work as advertised, which is probably exactly what he's saying.
This latest Model S really ups the game for the whole car. It's quieter, it's nicer, it's better built. If you told me this was a completely new model, I'd have believed you. What we need to figure out today is whether the track package adds an extra dimension.
And it did. The review overall was quite positive. If you would like to support this channel, you may sign up for Patreon, where I sometimes post exclusive videos. This video explains why Tesla board members are now buying more Tesla stock. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And maybe just one video for today, because the healthcare business that I own, it's requiring a little bit more attention than usual.